Hello, everyone. Namaste. Welcome. I have a lot of honor and gratitude to be here with you today and to be in the Dhamma teacher's seat, the meditation teacher's seat, the spiritual teacher's seat. So thank you for giving me this opportunity and this position in your life. That's something that I take very seriously and very sincerely. So as we open up this space and as we start this session, I invite everyone to be without thinking, to be in silence, and to kind of share, give, and receive this energy of silence. To give and share and receive this energy of silence together with me, together with everyone, together with everything. It's very, very difficult to meditate alone or to stay focused on living a meaningful life alone. It's very convenient, it's very helpful for me that I have this platform where I can connect, where I can feel connected with the broader community and have the inspiration to meditate, to be meditative, to practice not thinking, to be on the stage of my own mind, to be exposed. And I hope that you feel that way too, and that this supports your meditation, supports your way of being that's integrated with meaningfulness and depth. I have to watch myself. I have to catch myself because I can be easy to think about the next person coming in, the new person coming in, the person who will only stay for a minute, thinking about reaching out, being able to make offerings to new people, being able to receive offerings from new people, this kind of social activism. But at the heart and the core of the value of being concerned with Buddhism, with awakening, with the ending of suffering, you cannot be confused. This path and this practice now is not about anyone else. It's not about any other time. It's not about doing anything other than being. Doing non-doing. Being that is free from being someone, somewhere, doing something in some way. To return, to arrive, to dwell in non-thinking, just breathing, just being. And just resonating with the meditation teacher, just resonating with the person who is on the hot seat, listening deeply, receiving that mind, receiving that heart. And doing that for yourself as meditation, to fully receive and experience your state of being right now. And in some sense, I can say, well, this is an act. This is a portrayal. This is a performance. I'm talking this way. I'm looking this way. I'm acting this way for views or to be the teacher or to fit in some kind of role that I created in my life. But in another way, I can say that this gives me the access to being, that this is the practice of life, of living, of being, that is totally beyond and before any creations of thought and story of my identity. That being here, regardless of what measure on the scale of authenticity and being real, regardless of what score I get, that there's a freedom from needing to think. There's a peacefulness of presence that I don't need to think about, I don't need to figure out. There's a sensitivity of surrender that can't really be explained to you. You have to be receptive enough, empty enough, open enough, vulnerable enough to receive it, to wake up from the dreaming, thinking, theorizing, thinking about. How can you see what's in front of you if all you can see is your thoughts about what is seen? As I like to say, and I know some people don't agree with this and some people don't like this, you need to learn how to shut the fuck up. I don't like it either. I don't like having to say that and like having to be that coarse and that blunt with people. I don't like having to protect myself in all these kinds of different ways because we don't live in a world of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and enlightened, compassionate, wise beings. I don't like that. That's not my preference to present myself in that way. So this is a matter of nothing a matter. Nothing on the table to be eaten, to be drank, to be seen or heard or thought about. Just this directness of experience, I like to say experiencing of what you call you. But my idea and my invitation, my thought to share with the group is that maybe this experience cannot be contained in thoughts. Maybe this experience cannot be explained through thinking. Maybe there's not a story that can apply to the directness, the wideness, the fullness of this experience. The wholeness of this experience cannot be contained or described or explained by thoughts. Now, all that is to say, there's no superhero position here. I could be as enlightened as a monk in the forest. I could be as sincere as Mother Teresa. I could be the most fantastical, intelligent, high IQ score, wealthy, ultimate being in whatever ways that a being can be ultimate. And you know what? I could still be beaten up. I could still be tortured. I could still be blamed and shamed and torn apart in front of a crowd of cheering people. So this way of meditation, deepening your relationship with the heart of being, does not mean that your ego or yourself or your story is going to go the way that you would like it to go. It has nothing to do with that. Give, donate a lot of silence. So if you take this serious, you're wrong. If you take this lightly, you're wrong. If you want to shower me with praise, you're wrong. If you want to shower me with blame, you're wrong. Me is just another word for you. Whatever social dynamics are presented about me, about my identity, are just a part of the dream of you, yourself. So there's no excuses, there's no debating about this. The debate is, go into meditation or don't. The debate is, practice mindfulness and detachment or don't. And it's not an interpersonal dualistic debate. It's not a discussion. Meditation is not a discussion with you and your thoughts. So a Dharma environment like this is not a discussion between two people with varying thoughts. I'm not sharing with you what I think so that you can then share with me what you think. That's exactly what this is inviting the release of. And the intimacy of non-duality, the intimacy of an interpersonal relationship here being overridden by the practice and notion of the need and the efficacy for generosity is just like a mother and her infant child. This is the kind of mentality and energy we need to adopt in our way of giving without expectation. Whether the baby is crying or not, whether there's a true complaint or not, whether there's a real concern or not. Think about a mother and police coming and banging down her door and saying, your infant child is under arrest for crimes against humanity. There is no fucking discussion. And when that baby is crying and wailing and screaming, the only option is to hold that child, not to interrogate it. Why are you crying? What's going on? What happened? All of this secondary thinking, all of this discussion is just the second arrow that the Buddha talked about. Experience what is to be experienced now without asking where it came from, what's it about, is it hot or cold, is it good or bad, is it right or wrong that you are suffering? Is it right or wrong that you are depressed? How can you explain your anxiety? How can you explain what you're interested in? You cannot. It's like trying to explain the origin of the universe from your own experience. It's ridiculous. And what do we come back to? We come back to a communal invitation to meditate. That's what spiritual practice and community is all about. How much space is there to enjoy spaciousness? How much of an invitation is there to look at your own mind? How many words and phrases are there about the unnecessariness of words and phrases for you, for your ego, for yourself? How helpful have all these words and phrases been up to now for you controlling your own mind? Have you ever been able to talk to your mind and say, hey, I'd like to feel this way. I'd like to feel blissful. I'd like to feel joyful. I'd like to feel awake and aware and totally free from any kind of social anxiety. All right, Dr. Rob, I'll bring that right up for you. So why do we talk to each other in that way? Why do we think that talking with words and phrases to each other is somehow going to create a meaningful difference in the world or in our relationships with each other? It's not what we say. It's not even what we do. It is our way of being. It is the quality of our being in a way that's unfathomable, uncomprehendable, undescribable. The quality of your being now, if 1,000,000 books were written for 1,000,000 years every second, it wouldn't sum up a little tiny inkling of the quality of your being now, because the quality of your being now is not based, does not rely upon, is indescribable, unfathomable. That's not to say that you can't try to describe it, but this is just a hopeless action, trying to describe that which is always changing, trying to describe that which is so subtle that it can't be gotten a hold of by any means. So when I practice meditation, I don't know about you. I don't think about you. I don't think about myself. I like to find a comfortable, stable position, sitting cross-legged, and really I prefer to meditate as a teacher. I prefer to meditate when I'm sitting in front of a camera live streaming, because it gives me a good reason to meditate. It inspires me. It puts me on the spot. It traps me, so to speak, in this need to meditate, this need to be real, this need to give something. So I am most comfortable and most inspired to practice meditation when it's done as an action of generosity, with and for others, not just for myself. I like to sit cross-legged, with my back supported, comfortably. I use my breathing as an anchor. My breathing, my natural breathing that's just happening, as a contact point for mindfulness, for being aware in the present moment. And then I allow that awareness in the present moment to kind of lull me into peacefulness, to lull me into presence. If I just had a cup of coffee, meditation might feel real good. The body is jiving, the body is singing, so I get to enjoy that sing-song very deeply without any other distractions. If I've been doing a lot of energetic things with the mind and with the body, then going into meditation is very chaotic. This, that, this, that, this, that. It's very difficult to stay with that feeling. But regardless of all the different kinds of experiences that one can have, health, sickness, youth, old age, life, death, good status, bad status, pleasure, pain, this experience right now, this now is the only time that you will ever have to practice. Because you is timeless. You is a timeless thought that relies on the reality of time. But have you, as your direct experience now, as you being able to control your hands moving up and down and making choices, have you ever been to tomorrow? Have you ever been to yesterday? And remember, everybody, what I'm really saying in a very deep way is shut the fuck up. And the more that you're connected here, the more that you're connected with me, the more that you listen and practice here, the more responsibility that you take on here in terms of your practice and your involvement, the more that you should be shutting the fuck up. Your presence should be your offering, and it doesn't need to be announced. This isn't a fucking conversation. This isn't about you believing and agreeing and taking positions moment by moment mentally. Shut the fuck up and meditate. Shut the fuck up and focus on your breathing. I am not Santa Claus. This lap is not open for you to sit on. Be quiet. Focus. Practice as much as you can. And when we make mistakes, if there even are mistakes, they say enlightenment is the greatest mistake, then forgiveness is the only answer. And you are the only one who can forgive yourself. You are the only one who can practice to be mindful and to not attach to thoughts now. I don't give a fuck what those thoughts are. They're real, they're practical, they're meaningful, they're going to make me money, they're going to make me have social acclaim, people are going to agree with me, I'm going to make sure that this thought leads to that physically happening. But that is not what this is about. This is not about feeling comfortable, even though you may feel comfortable. This is not about you feeling uncomfortable, even though you may feel uncomfortable. So it is not about anything at all. Especially not about being about anything at all. And I am not doing this so that I can get more students, so that I can get more agreeable people involved with me. That is not my intention here. What is my intention? Shut the fuck up and meditate. That's my intention. No discussion, no debate. You want to be right when it comes to me? Come and cut off my head with a sword. Show everybody that you've got Dr. Rob's head in your pocket. All right, so W's in the chat, everybody. Thank you very much for being here, and big shout out to Aditya. We mentioned you the other day, Aditya. I don't think you were in the live stream to hear that. But that was our short guided meditation to start, small Dharma talk, guided meditation, and 25-minute welcoming session for all the newcomers. Today, I was actually inspired to read a text from Bodhidharma, an explication on the meanings of Master Bodhidharma. And I thought that this looked pretty good, pretty cool, and I wanted to go through that together. Great. How's everybody doing? Everybody okay? Everybody recover all right from our work and our practice yesterday? Good. Great. Glad to hear it. .6, that's quite good, eh? Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. So this is our dear friend Bodhidharma. For those who don't know, Bodhidharma is the founder of Zen in China, the founder of Zen Buddhism. So Zen is like the non-duality focused tradition of Buddhism. It's a very popular form of Buddhism. People have probably heard that word Zen. It's also called Chan in China, and Tien in Vietnam, and Son in South Korea. And this is an image of Bodhidharma, the founder of Chan Buddhism. And Chan is kind of known and called a kind of secret transmission, not dependent on words and phrases. From the Buddha down the lineages to the present day. The transference of the enlightenment mind is how they tend to call it. And we cut off Bodhidharma's head. So let's get right into the Bodhidharma teachings. Master Bodhidharma's treatise on awakening to Buddha nature. And so what we're doing here in our work together, our intentionality and our kind of general energy of what we're doing in the Monk Life Meditation Institute is we are working to awaken to our own nature, to awaken to our Buddha nature, to awaken to our awareness. And that's what this is about. Please shut the fuck up, focus on your breathing, listen closely, relax, and we'll go through some of these teachings together. The true body of the way is calmness and extinction. The aim of practice is to leave all forms of obsession. That's why it is said in a Buddhist sutra that calmness and extinction is awakening, Bodhi. For all forms are extinguished in that state. So the true practice, the true body of the way of bringing suffering to an end and becoming enlightened is calmness and extinction. So what is extinction? There were a lot of dinosaurs and then they all went extinct. There were a lot of thoughts and then they all went extinct. There were a lot of opinions, perceptions, views, things, and they all went extinct. So the true body of the way is calmness and extinction, not complicated ideas about psychology, about spirituality, about angels and demons, about psychic powers, about this and that. The true body of the way is calmness and extinction. The dinosaurs of self coming to an end. The dinosaurs of materiality and mentality, names and forms coming to an end. The aim of practice is to leave all forms of obsession. So what are we obsessed about? Going back to the audience here. What are we obsessed about, everybody? The aim of practice is to leave all forms of obsession. What are we obsessed about? What are you obsessed about? Are you obsessed about masturbating? Then you should leave that obsession. Are you obsessed about not masturbating? Then you should leave that obsession. Are you obsessed about being a good person? Then you should leave that obsession. Are you obsessed about the things that someone else is doing that are wrong? Then you should leave that obsession. The aim of practice, the aim of meditation, the aim of wayfaring, being on the way, is to leave all forms of obsession. Now, truly, we can only live our lives now. We can only be alive now. But if we went kayaking, if we were dating someone, if we had this major life event, then, we can say, yeah, I got married. Yeah, I moved to this place. Yeah, I got a new job. But when it comes to the present action of meditation, there is no time. That time, that scope of you doing these things, being in these places, development, and also going backwards, going forwards and going backwards in your spiritual practice, in your mental practice, in your meditation practice, in your way of either being peaceful or suffering, is given irrelevance in the practice of meditation. You have to give irrelevance to yourself on a journey, to yourself in time, to practice meditation. So that this meditation is the present action of awareness without attaching. Calmness and extinction. Calmness is awareness. Extinction is detachment. When we don't cling onto things that appear are allowed to disappear. When we are not fixating on things as being other than other things, then we can simply be aware. There's a sense of calmness. There's a lack of needing to compare and contrast. There's a lack of needing to think about thoughts. So the awareness can be prevalent and the extinction can take place. Detachment is kind of like something that takes place. You can't detach, nor can you really be mindful, but it can seem much more like you can be mindful than you can detach. You cannot seem to detach. That's just ego. But you can seem to be, oh, I'm being more aware now. But detachment is something that happens as a side effect or as a cause of mindfulness, of true mindfulness, of right mindfulness. Can I get a pat on the back or something? I think I'm doing pretty good today. All right, let's continue. The true body of the way is calmness and extinction, or awareness and allowing things to pass away. The aim of practice is to leave all forms of obsession. That's why it is said in a Buddhist sutra that calmness and extinction is bodhi, is awakening, is enlightenment. The present action of mindfulness and detachment is enlightenment. For all forms are extinguished in that state. All forms, all phenomena are extinguished in the state of the present action of mindfulness and detachment, or the present action of a willingness to be calm with whatever that allows extinction to take place, that allows passing away to take place. Buddhahood. Now, let's stop for a second. Let's stop and have a cigarette break. So do we have any questions or comments so far about what we're reading, Questions, everybody. Or we'll wrap up now because there's no questions. Nobody has anything to say. No, it's not appropriate. I will smoke for you, Lake, so you can practice that way. Good question. I thought you said, can I burn a cigarette? So now would be the time where you want to smoke because you got the Dhamma juice. You want to have a smoke. You want to be smoke with Dr. Rob. And now would be the time when you don't do that. As a practice of surrender, as a practice of self-sacrifice, as a practice of renunciation. Ash Ark says, if your visualization is not Buddha, could it still be enlightenment? I don't know what you're saying there. I don't know what you're talking about. So when we're talking about like awareness and not attaching, when we're talking about The true body of the way is calmness and extinction. This is it seems vague. You know what I mean? It seems generalistic because, well, we have to pay our bills. We have to do our math. We have to work with our psychology. We have to work with other people's psychology. And all these things seem to be very specific, right? But these are only specific in the context of the dream. In the context of no context, or the context of direct experiencing here and now, this is exceedingly specific. You could call it simple, but it's beyond simple and complicated. For our sake, for our mutual understanding's sake and our mutual encouragement's sake, we say, yeah, this is very simple. This is very, very simple stuff, right? But this is a practice. This is a specific practice of entering into enlightenment. Realizing Bodhi, realizing Nibbana, realizing your true nature. As if you could die tomorrow. You may be able to die tomorrow, but this, that is what you relies upon, is neither born nor does it die. It neither arises nor does it pass away. It can neither be described nor can it be not described by being not described. So people may say, well, Dr. Rob, I understand, you like this spirituality stuff and, you kind of made it into a gimmick so you can have a YouTube channel, you can talk with people and you get all these people in front of you. So I get you like this stuff, but come on. Like you really get your kicks from people are watching you, people listen to you, people ask you questions, people give you donations. But I'm telling you right now, my dear friends, this right here, the true body of the way is calmness and extinction. The aim of practice is to leave all forms of obsession. And maybe it's just the coffee talking. Is so precious. It's so valuable. It's like finding the key to the treasure store within yourself right here and right now. If you win $1 million, you can try the rest of your life to spend that. But if you are overflowing with bliss and freedom and peace, the richness of that overwhelms the notion of the rest of your life. It creates an energy of irrelevance to you, to self, to other, to words and phrases, to conventions, to complicated stories, to past and future. And this irrelevance is wonderful. So no matter how much fame I get, no matter how many donations I get, no matter how annoyed I get by people, this is always my refuge. This is the key to my treasure store. So how could I say, well, I'd rather get more views. I'd rather talk with people about things and people take me seriously. Or the opposite. As much as we can be addicted to pleasantness, this addiction goes into just being stimulated, cortisol. It's not a good idea or a bad idea. It's not right or wrong. It's not about that. It's about enlightenment and freedom from suffering. From samsara to nibbana. And for better or worse, we require certain causes and conditions to facilitate our human life. Let's continue. Buddhahood refers to the state of being enlightened. So what is a Buddha? What is Buddhahood? being enlightened, truly being enlightened. Now, why should we not just scroll on TikTok and search up the keyword enlightenment and see what videos we find and kind of just listen to the people and what they say and kind of, I agree with that, I don't agree with that? Because if you've got gold, you don't need to try to turn it into silver. If we have access to these records of monks, of meditators, of practitioners, if we have access to our own keenness of looking closely and deeply, and not just being lost in the vagueness of consuming what we happen across, then we will know gold when we see it. But when we're constantly looking at all these different colors and sounds and voices and opinions and words, we lose the keenness of our eyes because our eyes are filled with dust. And yes, even gold dust will cover up your vision. But if you have to have your vision covered up, would you rather it be covered up with gold dust or shit? And it's not absolute. It's beyond absolute. Buddhahood refers to the state of being enlightened. When a human has the enlightened mind and has attained the Bodhi way, he, she, they is called a Buddha. It is said in a Buddhist sutra, Buddhas are the ones that have left all forms of obsession, all forms of seeking, all forms of avoiding, all forms of thinking things through, trying to solve a puzzle. Trying to solve the puzzle of awareness is an obsession. Trying to get enlightened is an obsession. Trying to get views is an obsession. Trying to get donations is an obsession. Trying to create good content is an obsession. Thus, we know that if there ever is still a form, it is one devoid of any characteristics. It cannot be seen with physical eyes and can only be known through wisdom. If someone hears this Dharma and has a thought of faith, this person can arouse the aspiration for the great way, the Mahayana, and go beyond the three realms with it. The three realms are desire, anger, and ignorance. When they are turned into moral disciplines, so this is the moral discipline of not being desirous, not being angrious, not being ignorances, calmness and extinction. It is called going beyond the three realms. However, desire, anger, and ignorance have no substantial nature, but are given the names because of sentient beings. If one can reflect on the mind, they can clearly see that desire, anger, and ignorance are Buddha nature. And outside of desire, anger, and ignorance, there is no Buddha nature. It is said in a Buddhist sutra, since the very beginning, Buddhas have constantly been with the three poisons, and they are nurtured by the pure and clean Dharma to become the world-honored ones. The three poisons are desire, anger, and ignorance. The supreme vehicle of Mahayana is that whatever the Bodhisattva does is the vehicle, for they use all vehicles and yet don't use any vehicle. Using vehicles all day long and simultaneously not using any vehicle is the Buddha vehicle. As it is said in a Buddhist sutra, no vehicle is the Buddha vehicle. Now, our way of listening to this is our way of practicing meditation. allowing calmness, allowing extinction. The present action of mindfulness and not attaching, that is not based in thought. Awareness without attaching to appearances is the basis of listening to the Dharma. Our want for it to be explained, our want for it to be explainable, our want to be able to explain it is an obsession. And as we are exhorted upon to receive and practice, the true body of the way is calmness and extinction, or awareness and allowing appearances to disappear. The aim of practice is to leave all forms of obsession. If a person understands that the 6 sense organs are unreal, and the 5 skandhas are but false names, and that they cannot be found in any fixed parts of the body, we should know that this is someone that understands the meaning of the Buddha's words. Now, you may be able to practice with this as the irrelevance of names and forms. But listen, friends, you don't take your practice of mindfulness and detachment, or you don't take your practice of the irrelevance of all thoughts to then push forward a thought, to take a position of being a thinker, of being, I am expounding the Dharma. I am saying that I know that there are no forms and there are no things about this, and just blabbering on. That's not what it's about. Go inside yourself, Dr. Rob, please, and practice to be aware and to allow whatever arises to pass away. It's not about us talking to one another about it. It's not about us talking to ourselves about it. It's not about taking a position for or against anything. It has no relevance to me and you. It has no relevance to this and that. It is showing the irrelevance of everything, including the irrelevance of irrelevance itself. When we start to talk about yes, but, and that, and wait a minute, hey, I've got something to say, we are looking at our own finger pointing to the moon and not seeing that the finger is not the moon. Your finger, my finger, will never be the moon. It doesn't matter how much you meditate. It doesn't matter how much ayahuasca you take. It doesn't matter how deep and profound of an ultimate meditation experience you have. Your finger will never be the moon. The body and mind will never be the body and mind of Buddha, because the body and mind of Buddha are bodiless and mindless. The Buddha vehicle is no vehicle. So it's not about no discussion. It's about there is no, not about no discussion. Nor is there anything about that. So all of this trying to keep track of this word and this thought and that thought and this position and that position is irrelevant to the Buddha way. The vehicleless vehicle. To drop all obsessions. Calmness, awareness without involvement that allows extinction to take place. It's got nothing to do with building community. It's got nothing to do with being right. It has nothing to do with having an understanding about it or not having an understanding about it. It has nothing to do with having nothing to do about anything at all. As it is said in a Buddhist sutra, the storage building of the 5 skandhas is the Buddhist temple. Who here knows what the 5 skandhas are? Because I don't. know what words go into the five skandhas. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. Name, feelings, form, perceptions, inclinations, discernment. These five skandhas and these six sense organs, what this is pointing to is that everything that makes up the foundation of you, everything that makes up the building blocks of a real being, a real person, a real situation. So like the body, this is my body, or this is the body. These are the eyes that I use to see. The physical eyes and the seeing, the physical ears and the hearing, the physicality of the mind, the brain and the mind, the perceptions we have, the views we have, the opinions we have, the feelings, the sensations, everything that makes up you, that gives legitimacy to the notion of you, that can be owned, that can be halved, is empty, is a fiction. You can't find it. You can't find hearing. You can't find seeing. You can't find the eyes when you use your own faculty to look, the faculty of awareness, the deepest quality of your mind, of your being, of your nature. The very eye that looks through the eye, the very ear that hears through the ear, the awareness that the mind, the citta, that allows all of this to happen. When we go deeper into meditation, we are using that to investigate everything. We are saying that this mind, this awareness, this directness of experience is the best and most direct way that I can know what is true and real and reliable. Thoughts, thinking, words and phrases are and phases that we go through are a very coarse way of investigation into direct experience. The storage building of the five skandhas is the Buddhist temple. How can we not know that seeking enlightenment by contemplating on the inner of the mind is the method of Mahayana? Not recalling any dharma is meditative concentration. Not recalling, not bringing up any phenomena, mental or physical, is meditative concentration. Those who really understand what this means are in meditative concentration, no matter they are walking, standing, sitting, or lying. Knowing that the mind is void is seeing Buddha. Why is that? All Buddhas in the 10 directions of space are mindless. So when we do not see them through the mind, it is to see the Buddha. Giving away one's body without grudges is the great almsgiving, generosity, donation, the great donation. Giving away one's body without grudges is the great almsgiving. Leaving all activities and meditations is the great sitting meditation. Why is that? We'll leave it there for today. Why is that? Why is giving up the body, giving away the body, the greatest practice of generosity? So this is the end of our 1-hour session, our 1-hour Dharma talk. Thank you all so much for joining. We do still have a time if anyone has a question. If you're here, please do leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. And take a moment to enjoy this mindlessness. Take a moment to practice not ruminating on any mental form or physical form. Just this sense of calmness and allowing things through not grasping upon them to dissipate, to disappear, to allow thoughts to become extinct. The extinction of thoughts, isn't that why we're all really here? In some ways. And if you can, friends, to just take a moment, friends, students, fellow practitioners, curious onlookers, everyone, take a moment to just close your eyes and smile. And breathe. Fill the body up with joy, with bliss, with pleasantness, with gratitude. Maybe a little bit of a sense of gratitude for grace, for this sense of forgiveness. Even if we feel we don't deserve it, even if we couldn't begin to understand it. But this sense of the mind, of mindlessness, this opening of the trapdoor of freedom. You know, freedom can also just be another trap. Doesn't have to be real, doesn't have to be authentic. It's not about what other people think. Not even about what you think. Just feel, just give. And we can try to laugh too. Try to laugh a little bit. Laugh, cry. Okay. Thank you and take care, all right? See you again soon.